Ignore how fucking washed out I look. You bitches are out here just fucking anyone, and then all of a sudden 6 months later I see on fucking Facebook you're popping up with a gender reveal. What are we doing? You are expecting a child to heal your trauma. That just shows how unhealed you are, because you can't go and do the healing that you need to do before bringing a child into this world to traumatize them.
No such thing as a life that's better than yours. Left yours. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing, no such thing.
Jumbo everyone, welcome or welcome back, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about why I am no longer on birth control. Today is actually the 1-year anniversary of me getting my birth control taken out, and I kind of just wanted to talk about why I went on birth control in the first place, how I was on it, kind of my journey of then, you know, having a boyfriend, having an ex-boyfriend, becoming abstinent, going to the gym, how all that interferes. As you can see, peep the lip piercing. I don't know about y'all, but I'm in love. Whoa, whoa. Real quick, if you didn't know, I had to take out my Ashley piercing because a bitch just kept chipping her motherfucking tooth. So I had to take it out and let it heal for about 6 weeks, and then I finally was able to go back and get my vertical break. This is the piercing setup. Ignore the little chapness, but she's cute. I'm looking in the viewfinder. I'm beautiful. Come on now. Especially like with the piercings just eat, the piercings just give. Anyways, a lot of new changes come in. This video is filmed a little bit late just because a bitch is booked and busy. I know, okay, real quick. I go to school Monday through Thursday and work Friday through Sunday. There will soon be a time where I can stay at home all day, make content, have niggas pay my bills, but until then, we're grinding. So without further ado, talking about birth control, let's get started. Why did I go on birth control in the first place? I was a ripe sophomore in high school, and I had asked my mom to go on birth control, and she told me no. And what does Reese, who is hard-headed as fuck, do when you tell her no? She finds a fucking way. So I had found a clinic that allowed me to get birth control like without having to need my parents' consent, and with being 16 years old. There are clinics like that, especially in Minnesota, because we are so liberal. I don't fucking know. I was 16 years old. I went to the clinic and I got it inserted, and the reason why, my mom said that she didn't want me to have nexplanon because she thought I wanted to have sex and all that other stuff. Okay, and even if I did, that means I'm being safe. My mom literally told me that if I got pregnant, that she would force me to keep it so I could learn from my actions, and that my actions have consequences or whatever, something like that. So that's where I was like, you're crazy. But also I knew that I didn't want to like have sex. I'm in high school. I'm a sophomore in high school. Everybody was having that shit freshman, sophomore year. No, I waited till smooth junior year, almost done with junior year. So that, like I said, the reason why I wanted to get birth control in the first place is because of how bad my period was. I had had my period since I was about 13, 14 years old, and when I had my periods were terrible. I not only bled super heavily, but also my cramps were terrible. I would have the worst lower back pain of my fucking life. And on top of that, it was like my mom didn't allow me to use tampons in the beginning, so I would just be sitting in blood for the first 2 years, or for like the first year, until like I was like, girl, I'm not listening to you. I'm using a tampon because I'm not trying to sit in blood and smell like fucking nickels and pennies. You know what I mean. I finally started using tampons and all that other stuff. You know, transitioning onto high school, everybody was fucking and sucking, and I was like, okay, that's not gonna be me. But when I do decide to, I want to be protected. But the main reason was because of my period. And because nobody wanted to take me serious, bitch, I took myself serious, and I took myself to that clinic. Thank you. So I was on it for 4 years. Technically can keep it in for 5 years, but I did the 3-year mark. I actually got it changed right before the 3-year mark just to be safe, because I was in a relationship at the time. And if you are a part of my family, click the fuck off. Thank you. This is gonna be raw TMI. I don't need y'all watching this and trying to judge me. Just because I say everybody's intrusive thoughts doesn't mean that you need to crucify me for fucking saying it. You've either done it or you haven't. Don't judge me. Thank you. Back to the story. We were fucking raw. Let's be honest. We were not using protection because I thought that like birth control was a form of protection. So I was like, there's no point in using condoms if I'm on birth control, especially nexplanon, where it has like the 97%, I think. I don't know for sure, but it was a pretty high chance that we were okay with what we were doing, okay? And we were young. I know a lot of y'all right now are not on birth control and you're fucking raw, so I don't want to hear it. Anyways, also like that at the time, that was my boyfriend. Like, we were the only people fucking each other. So that's where it was like, you know, it didn't really make sense to use condoms. This is my mindset back then, okay? This is not my mindset now. This is my mindset back then. So yeah, it never really made sense to use condoms. We did in the beginning just because it was like, I don't know you, you don't know me like that, even though we knew each other. But you know what I mean? Having sex for the first time, you want to just have that extra precaution. With my partner doing some things, nothing in me. I never had like a pregnancy scare, and it was even like towards the end of my nexplanon, I started to notice my periods became more regular. Like, I would get them every month, maybe the last probably 8 months of me having it. And this is what I would tell my ex, because we were still together when I went to go get my nexplanon replaced, and I specifically told him I am going to act like a bitch for probably 2 to 3 months, because when he met me, I told him, I was like, you have to think of when you met me, like, my nexplanon is like fuel. When you met me, it was maybe at 50%, and now that we're a year into our relationship, it's depleted. It's at 20%, maybe even 5%. And I don't want to risk getting pregnant by your broke ass. So I'm gonna go get this shit changed, because no, I went and got it rechanged because I was like, I am not risking getting pregnant. I told him, you have to be nice to me. I'm going to be a bitch. My emotions are gonna be everywhere. And low-key, doing this for you, sir. Never get birth control for a man, but doing this for you so we don't get pregnant. Also, I have an opinion on that later on, which I will be saying. I'm doing this so I don't get pregnant, because getting pregnant is really not that hard. Let's be honest. When I got it replaced, obviously my emotions were everywhere, because like the first time when you first get synthetic hormones put in your body in order to stop your period, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? Your body is not in its natural cycle. And that's what happened for me. That's where I was like, I was all out of whack. My emotions were everywhere, and he didn't understand that, and he was stressing me out even more and wasn't adding to the situation, you know? So that's where I was just like, boy, if you don't. I was doing the nasty, unprotected. When I was on birth control, I never had a scare. This is not me out here promoting unsafe sex. All I'm saying, because everybody knows I be cussing their asses out when they don't use protection. All I have to say is, when I was on it, yeah, it was good for the time being, but also I never really knew what my true emotions were. I was like, is this the birth control, or is this actually me? Am I actually being over dramatic, or is it just the birth control? Is it just the extra hormones that it's pressing out each month so I don't get my period? Like, I never knew where I was mentally, and I felt fucking crazy. So then after my ex and I broke up, I had continued to stay on birth control just because it was nice not having a period. Let's be honest. It is nice not having to worry about your period every month. And for me, nexplanon works differently for everyone. For me, it got rid of my period. I would not have my period for probably sometimes up to 6 months. It was so nice. And then like maybe every 6 months, you know, while I was on it, it would give me a period here and there just to, you know, tell me I'm still a regular woman. But throughout, like, I rarely ever got my period while I was on nexplanon, and that is why I loved it, because that was the point. I could not handle experiencing my periods, I think, at the age and just place in life that I was. So that's why birth control was kind of like this buffer that I had in order to like whatever with my emotions. So like I said, today is the 1 year of me not being on birth control anymore and me actually getting it taken out. I think that especially with starting my gym journey, I wanted to see what my body completely was. No hormones, synthetic hormones at that was being added. I wanted to see what my body was all natural. So I decided a year ago, I'm not in a relationship with a man anymore. Also think I kept it in a little bit just because I kind of thought I was gonna have that, you know, after post breakup whole phase. No, I've never been like that. So that's where I was kind of like, there's no point in keeping this birth control in when not only am I like weightlifting, I didn't know how birth control was affecting my weightlifting, but also just in general, like, I'm not having sex with anyone. What is the point in keeping this artificial synthetic hormone in my body? So that is why I decided to take it out, and I was just like, yeah, it's not working for me anymore, love. So like I said, I've been off of it for a year. Also, just, you know, with life, with everything, I just genuinely feel like I'm able to tap in a lot better with my emotions just because I'm not having something be influenced, if that makes sense. Having these synthetic hormones in your body can alter, you know, it's literally sending signals to your body and telling it what to do. And for me, it just wasn't it anymore. Also, I have like the nexplanon scar, and it just reminds me of like, obviously in the beginning, it wasn't meant for men. It was meant for me, my periods, whatever. But then having a boyfriend and being able to like fuck raw, that was like nice. But then at the end of the day, it's like, bitch, bitch, you were being used for sex. Bleh. To say like having something artificial in me when I wanted to become the best version of myself, birth control did not align with me anymore. Now, the point where I'm talking about it's not that hard to not get pregnant, you bitches out here are fucking raw and expecting to not get pregnant. Pre-cum is a thing. I get it. You can track your cycle, you can track whatever, but like, let's be real. If you get pregnant, that's on you. Unless you're on birth control and using protection and like, you know, whatever, especially if you're on birth control and you get pregnant. Like, I can't blame you because, you know, I did the same thing. I was on birth control and I used birth control as protection. We didn't use anything else. So that's where it's like, you know, if you're not on birth control and you're fucking raw and then you get pregnant and you're fucking surprised, that's on you. It's not that hard to not get pregnant. That's my controversial opinion. It is not that hard to not get pregnant. You bitches are out here just fucking anyone, and then all of a sudden 6 months later I see on fucking Facebook you're popping up with a gender reveal. What are we doing? Do you know how many gender reveals I've seen? And I'm like, bitch, not only are you younger than me, but fucking we went to high school together. Why are you pregnant? I'm like, I'm transferring colleges. I literally cannot imagine taking care of a child. Hell no. I also don't see myself having kids for a while. Bitch needs to heal a little bit longer before we bring another human into this world. Thank you very much. So that's where I'm just like, you bitches just let anyone get you pregnant. That's where I'm also like, you want to know why your dad is fucked up? Is because your mama chose a fucked up baby daddy, or maybe your dad fucking changed throughout the pregnancy, whatever, and just became an asshole. But it's like, y'all be thinking that babies are gonna make men stay. When did that ever happen? Please stop having these children thinking these men are gonna stay with you, and stop having these children thinking that they're gonna heal something in you. What? You are expecting a child to heal your trauma? That just shows how unhealed you are, because you can't go and do the healing that you need to do before bringing a child into this world to traumatize them. Thank you. That's also why I'm like, abstinent. I'm not fucking you niggas. I'm not having sex. So then you can what? Trap me? Some niggas have fucking like a breeding whatever fetish. So that's why like I feel like I'm abstinent again, because it just breeds out, see what I did there? Separates all the men who want me for me versus who want me for sexual things. Kitty cat is closed until you are gonna put a ring on it. Like, obviously I'm gonna try before I buy, but if you're not like showing me that you want to marry me and buy me a house as a push gift and a car for pushing your big-headed ass baby out my vagina, I don't want it. Stay away. Stay away. So what are my thoughts now? Birth control, if it works for you, it works for you. I know a lot of other people use it for different reasons, not just for sex, like for acne, cramps. Like I said, my period, I could not handle my period. I just think now with a lot of the information that's coming out, especially the FDA just be clearing whatever the fuck they want, and then fucking 10 years down the line, we find out that it's cancerous. So who knows if a fucking commercial is gonna pop up talking about, did you have nexplanon? Well, you're entitled to... I don't want to be a part of that group. No. Also, I'm not fucking. What do I need to have nexplanon for? And I think like that's me. I'm never gonna go on birth control again because there's no point. I like my body the way that it is, natural, thick, all that good. And I'm not gonna ruin it by synthetic hormones. So that's just my opinion, because I feel like I gotta say opinion. It's my opinion. Anyways, so that was just my thoughts on birth control. It's kind of all over the place, but that's just my experience on birth control, what it was like on it being my 1 year ago, you know, since I got it taken out, how much I've changed over that year, and especially seeing the effects of birth control and what it was like in a relationship, all that other stuff, you know, the vibes. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye y'all.